Okay, this is a conversation that I would like to address about cell phone companies. Now, it's a battle between the cell phone companies. You have Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. You have Verizon because its service is better than the other cell phone companies. But the problem is with one of the cell phone companies in general, Verizon, who know that their domination of other cell phone companies, that they bring in the most revenue and have the most customers. Do we ask a question? Are cell phone companies getting commission to basically sell you a device or sell you other particular things such as cases or headphone sets or screen protectors? And we wonder, most of the employees that work for these companies, how they could stand the pressure of working with customers. It is true that there are some customers that are totally disrespectful, and there are some customers that are totally patient. I myself, who has been with Verizon's wireless ever since 2012, I have spent so much money on Verizon over the years, to the fact in 2018, I went to the point of being fed up because of the simple fact that Verizon Wireless never fixed my voicemail box. There were charges on my bill from other devices which I had paid off, that I still saw the prices of those devices on my account that never had been taken off. And Verizon is the first to like to credit individuals on their account instead of giving them their money when they show a receipt. The reason of this conversation and the reason why I'm going live viral with this, I am not trying to damage Verizon. What I am trying to do is put the message out about the customer service. The 42nd Street Grand Central Station store, where I had an encounter with a gentleman who was very disrespectful to me. I had waited at this same location for a total of 7 hours. I was adding the times that I had came to the store. The first time I came to the store, when I had did the transaction at 79th Street, I went to 42nd Street to see if they had the iPhone Pro, the 11. When I was told that they may be getting the device soon, that they will call me. The gentleman did do as he said. He called me. When he called me, I had asked him, is there anything else I need to do on the behalf of switching this device over? He said, all you need to do is just come in the store and I'll take the device that you have and I'll switch it or swap it out and give you the iPhone Pro. That was said. I came one day, he wasn't there. I came another day, he was on break. I was willingly and patiently to stand the test of time to wait for him. And I did just that. I waited. And I waited approximately 35 minutes. When I left that store, it was a total of 3 hours. He had told me to take my device and get my information that did not go to the cloud and sync it into the computer. I did that, and I came back to the store the next day. I think it was, and it was on a Monday, about 2 weeks ago. And I waited in the store and waited. And finally, he came with the phone, and I kept asking him, the device that you have, will there be additional charges? Before I got a chance to get an answer, this gentleman had returned my device back to the register. Some code they use, a Q&E, I think that he said, returning the merchandise back. So basically, the charge that he was basically going to charge me for was the installment fee. He claimed that he refunded that. Then another thing he did, which I repeated to him very kindly, repeated and said, I have a receipt here. for the case. Can you kindly refund me back exactly the way I purchased it? He takes the case, he gives the case back to one of his colleagues when he returned the case and said, "Oh, there's going to be a check that's going to be mailed out." I said to him, "Do you not remember when I asked you kindly to give me cash the same way I paid for it?" He said nothing. And at that time, I said, "Well, where's the device?" He said, "Well, I thought you wanted to go on and go for the Pro." Okay. I said, "Yes, I do want to go for the Pro. I want to know if there's any additional charges." At that particular time, I wasn't prepared to spend any more money with Verizon for anything else. He provoked me to the point of making me feel as if I was stupid and he was smart. So I stated to him that I couldn't do any transactions on my credit card until the following day. So I'll come back the following day. So he still moved forward with doing what he chose best, was to return my device back to his register. At that point, I said, "Please, will you allow me to speak to someone in management?" He looked at me and said, "What is management going to do? This is Verizon Wireless that I can't do." I said, "Well, there's certain powers that management has that other staff members do not have." So we went to the phone within the vicinity of the store, and I was on the phone, and God knows, I can look at the time. It went from 15 minutes to 59 minutes. 59 minutes, 72 minutes of my time being taken up within the store. So we finally spoke to a representative. The representative came on the phone, and then the representative said that she could do something to help me in the matter. So what she was going to do was to bill the taxes to the account. He said, "Oh, no, you can't do that." She said, "Well, I want to know if I can do this because I think I can do a miscellaneous and refund him, but then charge it to the phone." He looked at me and he said to her in a very, very hostility manner, "You know, I tried to already tell him that I can't basically give him this device without him paying for it." And I said, "Well, did you tell her that I explained to you that I was not paying anything else for any other devices? I rather had just keep the one that I had and go back to the 79th Street store." And he completely had no respect for me at all. Didn't care. Remind you, within that week, the last week, there was a customer that came in with the same problem, and he was so angry. And he said, "I've been with this company for 8 years, and this is the way they treat me, Verizon Wireless." So, at the 42nd Street store, to close this conversation, when this gentleman did not have respect for me, and I felt violated, and I felt that he didn't care, I was on the telephone, and I felt like at the point of saying, "You know what? I'm done with this. I've waited here. You have no respect for my time. I'm done with this. I am completely done with this situation." I said, "You are an evil person. You know exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you wanted to happen. You did not care. The behavior in this store is outrageous, and someone has to do something about it. I may not be the one to do anything about it, but someone's going to do something about it." So I exit to a door that was locked. Then I turned around and said, "Can you please get me the F out of this store? F you, know what? You're wrong for this. Trust me, you're evil." This is what I said. I said this because this person had pushed me to the point of making me feel and belittle me and extort me to say something to me of saying like, "You don't have the money to pay for the phone." What do you mean? I can't wait till you go to the ATM. Disrespectful. So I'm addressing this and I'm putting this on YouTube and I'm letting people know customer service is ridiculous. There's some people that are nice. Chick-fil-A on 52nd Street is better with customer service than the used car salesmen at some of the sales stores. Verizon, wireless, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. You charge so much for these devices, but you disrespectfully do not honor your customers who work very hard, who have patience, and who would just deal with almost anything. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And then you would send such letter to someone as a cease and desist letter of staying out of your stores. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. If you go back in the history of how much money I spent with you all, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. What does one do when another pushes them in the corner? They don't attack. They just allow them to continue to push them. No, I will not allow this matter to continue to go on. It was absurd, it was wrong, and it was totally unprofessional. So how can you state that you stand for your customers as well as you stand for your employees? It seems to me that you stand more for your employees than you stand for your customers. It feels as if this is unionized, where they have strikes so they can treat you any kind of way. It's wrong. Totally, totally wrong and disrespectful. And I really hope that other customers out here within this universe who deals with Verizon in the United States understands exactly what I'm saying. You can't let these cell phone stores take your energy and time up. You can't let these cell phone stores rob you. You can't let these cell phone stores add different things on your account without your knowing. They're fast talk car salesmen. Even though Verizon has great service and outstanding service, but you cannot allow these individuals to jive you just so they can be able to feed their family by being corrupted, by taking advantage of you. You cannot allow the people in these cell phone stores to do this. You have to take action to understand what you're paying every month, understand what's coming out of your credit cards, understanding what your credit looks like. And one thing about it, you don't want Verizon on your credit report because it sticks. You have to fight it to get it off. So here's my thing that I have to say in customer service. Yes, there are bad customers and there are good customers. There are bad employees and there are good employees. You have to understand, to be in customer service is almost as being a psychiatrist. It's almost as being a psychiatrist. In the two of a psychologist and the psychiatrist. Psychiatrists, you have to have that mentality. You have to have patience. You have to understand that people are going through different things. You have to understand the language. We're in a time that there are all types of individuals within this country, the United States, all at once that speak different languages. They may not understand what you're saying. They may not be very great at speaking English. They may not be great at speaking Spanish. You have to be patient. You have to be patient, and you have to respect the people who respect you. Everyone's not your enemy. Writing letters to your corporate offices and acting as if your customer is your employee is wrong. It's not healthy. It's not the way to do business. Someone's going to speak out eventually. Because when the going gets rough, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. If I'm saying that right. But it's wrong. You cannot, you cannot, you cannot continue to treat customers like as if you are the only company on the planet Earth and they have nowhere else to go. Yes, Verizon, you have great service in certain places. Everyone has their bad service areas. There's some areas that Verizon has bad service, like Verizon Fios. It's very bad in the Hudson Valley. They've had so many people to return their DVR boxes and their cable boxes because they promised them service and it didn't work. I was one of those customers. You have to have respect for customers, even if they don't have respect for you. I've worked in customer service. I've dealt with the abuse. I know how it feels. And I also know when a customer is fed up, that gives their time to you. That should be appreciative all at once. If they gave you their time. You can't treat someone disrespectful. And a customer shouldn't treat another disrespectful. But there's always a narrative of why every action that takes place, if there's a reaction to it. And if a person say that they are so pure and so professional and never have gone off on anyone and never a person never taken them there, they're wrong. They're wrong. Because it happens in the workplace every day, just as well as it happens outside of corporate America or inside of corporate America. People leave jobs every day because they're being disrespected. People that are being sexually harassed, that don't have a voice. And when they do have a safe haven to escape and they explain what the narrative is, then they're wrong. We're in different times where people don't value customer service anymore. And someone somehow is going to be fed up. You have to treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's the way it should work in life. So this is the end of this video, and I hope someone in Verizon's executive team is listening to this. And by the way, Sprint, you have a great plan, but your service is horrible. Sorry to say that. It's very horrible. So be square, be blessed, and guess what, guys? Don't feel ashamed to speak out when someone is doing you wrong. You don't have to call names. You don't have to throw out subliminals, but address it. Because the same problem you're having, someone else is having that same problem. They may not have the voice, but you may have the voice for them. So speak out if something is not correctly being taken care of in the right contents. And how dare you that I'm doing this for clout chasing, because I don't care anything about that. So I hope you get this video on YouTube and you see it, and have a great day.